Okay.
Welcome, Tavo, and thank you for being here today to share your journey with us. What a tremendous year it has been, and we just love how far you've come with us and looking at the journey from where you initially started. Can you talk to us sort of what that journey was?
Yeah, I mean, in just a few short words, I think I've said this to you both, but I was um, very skeptical at the beginning. I don't consider myself like a, you know, like an organic, hippie, crunchy kind of person, although I think some of my friends would think that I am, but mostly that's just because I like the outdoors. So I was very skeptical of the program at the beginning. But I went for it because my doctor recommended it. And then once I started getting uh, recommendations on what to eat and what not to eat, I kind of became angry. And so I was angry for a couple of weeks and was even more skeptical then because it just required a lot of paradigm shifting for me. So, for example, instead of doing the non-fat, low-fat, uh, staying away from like meats and just eating a lot of whole grain rice or whatever it was that I was doing, I just kind of like shifted, and so I wasn't sure that that was going to work because that ran contrary to everything I'd been learning or told or read in magazines or on the internet. But then at some point there was like a turning point and started paying dividends, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, I would say at the beginning I was highly skeptical, and the paradigm shifting made me kind of angry. So
It is so heartening for people to really be honest around what that feels like in the beginning. And it's so funny because most of our clients come in through the door of medicine. And yet one of the things that Denise and I so wholly embrace is the idea that this is really a mind, body, spirit journey, which you have embraced all aspects of that. And, we'll kind of talk a little bit about each one of those, but it is true. We say when you come in through the door, actually now it's the computer screen.
right.
But yeah, I mean, we totally love working with the physician that you were referred by. And again, I think there was sort of that expectation that it was going to be the low fat, no meat, kind of routine, which is totally contrary to the things that, we talk about, which is, whole foods, real foods, getting immersed in cooking, which is one of the things that's been such a pleasure to, work with you on. So, yeah, tell us a little bit more about that expansion, what it's been like in terms of right from the beginning, using the portal. What's that been like for you?
So the portal was pretty easy to use. I wish I had learned about all the neat shortcuts there was for the portal because I didn't like tracking food. There were like a lot of things that you're able to do with the app that I didn't know you could do until Denise explained to me down the road. Like, for example, you can scan barcodes on foods and like that'll just automatically populate. Sometimes you can also just take a photo of a meal, I think, and I think it'll populate what meal you're eating. And you can create recipes. And so anyway, I wish I had like known more about those kind of neat things at the beginning. But it's pretty easy to use once you figure out the shortcut, I think. So, and it's like all in one, so that's pretty helpful in terms of the supplements or the, I don't know, whatever protocols or I don't know, whatever stuff I was getting prescribed. Like the recipes, that's what I want to do. It's the recipes.
Yeah, and you took advantage of all of that. You had 4 different rotations of different recipes, and you've tried things. really expanded your repertoire a lot in terms of different kinds of foods, which was really amazing. The other thing that that we were really impressed with is that you journaled your sleep and your physical activity. And I know Denise was also working with you on coaching around fitness and, some of those expectations that you had, because I remember you and I had many conversations about the little yapper in the back of the head, that little self-critic that's alive in all of us. But you definitely found that was something that was an area that needed some transformation. And we would love to hear a little bit more about what that's been like for you, kind of peeling that onion.
So, well, there's like two things, right? Well, I mean, it's part of the same thing, but there's what got me to the gym. And I think Denise was very helpful making me push past my excuses because, a lot of times you go to the doctor and you say, like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go. And then you go back and then you're like, oh, well, for sure I'm going to start tomorrow. And you give yourself all these excuses. And even therapists, let's say you're seeing a therapist, they're kind of on the gentle side. I mean, some are not so much, but generally. But Denise was just very much cutting through all the, all the BS and just like, okay, well, you said that last week or 3 weeks ago. Not like what's changing tomorrow? Because you're saying the same thing, and it's like, well, and she made me come up with a plan, and then she like bugged me. I think she bugged me like several times actually. And I finally just like enrolled just to get her off my back. And then that just kind of started the process, right? It's like, wow, now I'm enrolled. Now I'm going. And then once you start doing that, you're just going because you're going. But that was helpful in terms of the motivation. I think what I have previously relied on, and this is, I don't know, probably in retrospect pretty horrible and damaging. And I probably shouldn't be laughing about this, but I don't know. I think it's pretty funny. I grew up with a mentality that, and even some of my friends have this mentality, that the reason you want to have a mirror is so that you can look at yourself in the mirror, and then if you hate what you see, you use that hatred of your body to motivate you, right? Like, I hate what I see. I'm gonna do something about this because I don't want to look this way. And it hasn't actually been a great motivator for me, like having that kind of thinking. I grew up in a family that, there's a lot of like weight issues. And honestly, I think a lot of that stems from just like negative talk, I don't know. I think I refer to that as like one of our family curses. And so just learning to put that aside and then finding motivation instead and focusing on things like, well, how do you feel now that you went to the gym, right? Like, I guess the effect of going to the gym and eating better, journaling, for example, how I felt after meals. And so the motivation has switched from, I hate my body, I hate what I see in the mirror in the morning, I don't want to be this, I'm going to do something, to instead, wow, I feel a lot better. I'm not having to take naps in the middle of the day or pass out after like a heavy carb meal at 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm not feeling as sad and depressed. I'm feeling more excited and motivated, and like, well, the dopamine from the gym workouts. And so you're doing it because it makes you feel good, in that sense, as opposed to having that negative self-talk. That's, I don't know, that's not, I guess it can be a motivator, but I don't know. It's not sustaining, and it's not really good for you. I don't think it's healthy. So anyway, I think that was like a really big turning point for me in the program. Was just, I want to do this because I mean, it makes me feel better. So why not, and like, I haven't counted calories in the program, which is something which is also anathema to the way I was used to doing things. And so yeah, I don't know. it hasn't felt as restricted. It is, and it feels more liberating, if that makes sense.
That's awesome. That's exactly what we want to hear. And one of the things I love about what you've gathered from using the journals is, again, it's not about the calorie counting. Yes, we have calories there to kind of just keep a general eye on. It's really looking at those target nutrients. Like, did you get enough fiber in? Did you get enough water in? How's your iron, your protein, and things like that? Because that's what's really helping your body and your brain to feel better. And I love the fact that you're saying that this is really more about feeling better as opposed to what I'm seeing in the mirror or not seeing in the mirror. I would love to sort of like expand upon some of the family and friend dynamics, because that's oftentimes a huge ouch factor for all of us. I know for me and my family, it certainly was. You know, managing, I'm making these changes, I'm transforming the way that I'm eating and living. Not everybody else around me is, nor do they want me to. But that's been profound for you. So could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I think on the food front, it's definitely been a conflict with my family. My family generally does not like eating what I eat. They think a lot of the food that I eat is eccentric, weird. You know, we grew up on fast food, and I don't know, we like all the bad stuff. And so my family will often be over for the weekends, like at least my parents, and so just negotiating where we're gonna go eat has caused fights because we just can't settle in a restaurant that'll suit both of our needs. And it's taken us a while to get there. There were some points where I just decided not to engage with them and say, like, you know what, like, why don't you guys go eat on your own and I'll eat on my own. But I think now we're better where we're like, okay, we do want to hang out together, but, you know, we're going to, like, respect each other's dietary restrictions, right? Like, my mom can't eat shrimp because she's allergic, for example, and she's a little bit lactose intolerant, so she can't do much cheese. So, like, yesterday I made a dinner for us, and it was real simple. It was just, like, salmon with asparagus and a salad. Like, it was just you know, and they complimented me on the food and they liked it, and you know, so but it's kind of a journey in and of itself in terms of the food part, because I do like eating, as we all do, but I enjoy eating with my family. It's like pretty big part of us hanging out together. But I can't be around donuts, right? I can't be around a box of donuts. Like, I go to my parents' house and there's like a big box of donuts. It's like, I can't be around that. In terms of the alcohol, which is the other part, that's more with my friends, right? And, you know, there's been a lot of pushback on, like, oh, why aren't you drinking? Or, you know, some of them are pretty supportive, but then at the same time, you're not going to be really going to a bar and not be drinking. So, I don't know. We found different things to do, I suppose. I don't know. Like, I guess still dinner and making dinner. But that's, yeah, we're just readjusting the way of doing things. But, or my cousin, for example, she's a big drinker. And when I wasn't drinking for her birthday, you know, she was a little bit annoyed by that. And then there's others that are just haters, especially, I don't know. Men love to be haters. I don't know why. But they just will talk smack about the fact that I eat organic, or why am I eating organic, and my other friend just talks smack about free range, but just also because she's a hater. So yeah, you come up with this stuff and it's kind of annoying. But I think, oh yeah. So at first I thought this was weird. This is something you told me that you did with your family. But I just started showing up with groceries to some events, to like family events. And you know, they're gonna grill their like meats and their beef and all this other stuff. And so I'll show up with like my veggies and my kebab sticks, you know, and my like free range chicken or whatever. And I was like, all right, well, just throw my kebabs on the grill, you know, like it's a grill, you know, like I don't care. And some people might be offended by that, but then I don't know, it sparked a whole like wholeness journey conversation with my aunt. That's probably the worst part of it is like my aunt didn't stop talking to me for like 12 hours. So I couldn't actually hang out with my cousin. Maybe that's what my cousin was mad about actually. But she was just talking about her like wholeness journey, and you know, because like they're my parents' age, and they, you know, she was talking about like diet and, you know, like how she's trying to get her kids to change the way they eat, because we have we're pretty heavy on the red meats. We're like northern Mexican, so like that's like our thing is like barbecues and stuff like that. So yeah, it's caused a little bit of conflict. It's made it a little bit difficult, but I think all changes, right? Like all change comes with its challenges, and so I think framing it that way, I think is, I don't know, has been helpful to me, I suppose.
That's awesome. Yeah. Change does come with challenge. But you've been brave enough. You've been with us 9 months, you know, just about a year in terms of this whole journey. And from where you walked in the door, computer screen, and where you
Right.
are now as a whole person has just been, you know, so beautiful to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately that's what we want for you, and that's what we want for our clients, to reclaim that wholeness and not to shy away from the challenge, not to shy away from the difficult moments, especially, you know, how we talked about how people coming through that virtual door or that screen with a pain, an ailment, a problem, and it becomes this whole mind, body, spirit thing. And some of it, in fact, I want to say a lot of it, even the things that are connected to our food, become so emotional. And can be, you know, kind of crunchy, as Julie and I love to say. It can become kind of uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
I just, you know, want to take a second to really honor you for leaning into that and being so honest and open about that. There were parts that were very frustrating and angered you and were uncomfortable, but you continued to lean into that. You didn't shy away, and you stayed open to the process. And, you know, you gave me permission to kick your ass sometimes and say, you got to do it. You just got to get up and do it. So a lot of the things that we tell our clients is that it's a co-creative process. This is not a one-sided relationship where we're the gurus and we're telling you what you need to do and you sort of comply. You are a very much important part of that journey. And so we do it together. We're here to hold you accountable, and ultimately you become responsible for that end result. You become responsible for what you want to see happen. And I'm glad that you got the amazing results that you have, and you continue to be in this process where it's not only about you anymore. Now you've actually influenced your family and your friends, and that's a beautiful thing that you've kind of unconsciously invited them onto that journey to be with you as well.
Yeah. Shining your beautiful light. Yeah. It took you a while for you to see, but you've been able to sort of like own that more, which is beautiful. So yes. Thank you so much, Tavo, for this, for being with us, for this journey, and also for sharing with our other clients and people on our channel, so that they can see the beautiful journey that you've had. So
thank you
so much.
for sure.